What is going on, everyone? My name's Boit, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology, the Titans action. Spawning in the top of the map in the blue color, playing as Zeus. His name is St4rco. His opponent today in the red color, playing as Hades. An interesting opener here from Revan. That makes sense. It is Revan. An interesting opening from Revan because it's Revan. He has decided to shoot the hippopotamus underneath this town center, build the granary over on this berry bush, and get himself hunting dogs. I'm sure there's the hunting dogs coming in. Really, really interesting. He's going to be able to... No, he doesn't really save anything. He does manage to get the double wood and gold mine as well. It's going to be a really fast advance here from Revan. But I don't actually know if he's going to... Well, it looks like he will be able to drag hippopotamus underneath his towns. And a nice play here. So he gets both hippopotamuses underneath... Hippopotami? He gets both the hippopotami underneath this this town center. And we'll have to wait and see how it's all going to go. Meanwhile, over here in St4rco's base, very standard opener. 5 villagers on this hippo over here. 5... It's going to be fine, and he's going to look for potentially moving over to these gazelle here. He could move over onto the giraffe or over onto the zebra. It'll be really, really interesting. We've got a question about the tower spawns here. So these tower spawns are indeed very, very strange. I can't explain those tower spawns, but the players, they do have opportunity to veto. And if he didn't like these towers, he could have vetoed this. But basically, they're all on the wrong side of his town center. They're not defending anything. So things are going to be a bit funny here. Now, this is the map Tropical Mirage, which I think is a really fantastic map. And it looks like the map spawn here has spawned town centers forward, and forward. This is very normal for this map. Forward town centers is the standard for this map. Very rarely do you see a back town center spawn on this map, if at all. I don't actually think it's possible. But the point is here that both good hunting, good starting hunt, plus forward town centers means that in the Greek mirror, especially with Zeus playing along, that grabbing a fast second town center here is Hades or as Poseidon. Very, very difficult. Very dubious at best. So we'll have to kind of wait and see what's going to happen here. As the temple coming up for Revan, I would love to see a fast advance coming through for St4rco, but it's kind of a modern-esque builds are the thing here for Greek players. And we do actually see, look at this, the gold mine here. St4rco not taking full advantage of this. He could have thrown up a storehouse that hit this gold and hit the wood line, saved himself 50 wood, and a really, really fast advance time, but deciding against that one there. Meanwhile, relics being uncovered here. The System of Bast being found. This is one of those relics that on an initial inspection of this relic, you're like, what? 10% food reduction on my villages? That's huge. And then you realize, hang on. That's only really like I get, like, what is it? 20 food a minute. Extra food a minute. It's not that big of a deal. It's kind of, you just think it is, but in the end, not really. Or if you have 2 town centers, it's 40 food a minute, which ends up becoming like you get an extra villager. Or if you have 3 town centers, it becomes 60 food a minute, and that's kind of cool. But then you hit 80 villages, and then you don't get any more benefit out of it. Just the things that go around in my head. I'm not saying that this is something that's normal. I'm just saying that it's something that happens. St4rco going up through Hermes, Revan going up through Athena here. And it does look like Revan is gearing up to get himself that second town center very, very fast. Maybe going to go for this one. He could go for this one as well. Both have got Hunt on them. Both are going to be fine. Do we see any villagers on the favorite? Yes, we do. St4rco, for the first time in this series, is opting in to go for early Centaur. And this is going to be really, really scary now for Revan and St4rco, because we haven't seen how either player deals with early game pressure, being the one that applies it, being the one that receives it. This is going to be a really big telling, well, I mean, this is the last game of the series, it's best of 3, but this is going to be a really big telling sign as to really what level these players are at. Pretty much everyone, once you hit 1750 to 1800 level, can boom. Pretty much everyone has got that down. But the things that start becoming hard and things that separate the good players from the players trying to be good is how well you deal with like certain situations, certain pressure that comes on. We see the Chiron coming out here. Will st4rco see this one or not? His Centaur is getting hit over here. 2 shots off before the bolt comes in is a big, big deal. As Revan now moves over here, he's going to get this town center up. We see the units now pushing in to put some pressure onto st4rco. As the Ajax comes back over here, the Jason coming in over here as well. The Katoskopos does see the town center coming in. Centaur now looking to take out some of the villagers on this line over here. Meanwhile, the villagers have to retreat back. They're running straight through the pyramid, moving over onto potentially this side, this position over here. As do we see the Odysseus out just yet? Yes, we do. Coming forward, the villagers on this location over here, getting the town center up very, very fast. Do we see the Chiron on the way? Yes, we do. Town center here. We see the Centaur pole mark is now in. That's a really big upgrade to have. One villager will be getting taken down. Will we see a second one coming down or not as the Ajax moves through here? And it looks like st4rco here, he's going to have to pull back ever so slightly because the Ajax, the Chiron, he does have a Jason, so technically he can win this fight over here as the Jason going straight after the Minotaur on this position. The town center gets denied. Revan has to come back to the home base over here, and we will be seeing the Minotaur getting sniped out, but not before that Katoskopos gets sent packing as he flings himself. He gets flung all the way over onto this. My God. I've never been more happy to see Katoskopos die in my entire life. Centaur now going to be moving back over onto this food location here. We'll see if he's going to be able to snipe a villager or two. These Centaur, they need to get value here. st4rco's got a big advantage in terms of food, in terms of villagers here. As the Jason and the Odysseus getting pushed back, we now have a stable coming up with, or not up, already down, with Hippocon coming through to try and chase down these units. Odysseus looks like it will be getting taken out ever so slightly. Ajax at nearly full HP. Hippocon coming through onto this position. It probably could be an opportunity now for Revan to try getting that town center back up if he so chose. But looks like st4rco has got everything sorted out in this game. Swinging around, looking for, making sure that town center is going back, not going back up is a really nice play here. It's really good awareness here from st4rco. But now we see Sentinels down in the main base. Walls coming up. And Revan has to play off one town center here against these Centaur. And this is going to be really, really difficult. Normally, against Centaur, you're on 2 town centers. So losing a villager, not that big of a deal. But if you're on 1 town center, Centaurs move in, snipe a villager, and every villager that dies here, that's an extra villager that your opponent is just in front of you in terms of total villagers working. And it's absolutely huge. 1 villager down there. Wall's going to have to come back up. More Centaur coming back out. And we see a second town center now coming down for st4rco. He has got full control of this game. And look at this. Revan now coming in, grabbing this back elephant here. Let's take a good look at st4rco's position here. He doesn't know what's back there. He doesn't know that there's an elephant there. So that's going to be very, very safe here, especially with the wall up over here. For st4rco to push through this location, he has to break this wall down and then he has to swing all the way around the bottom. And we've already got the Ajax on this position right now. As we've got more and more units popping out of this position here for Revan. Revan's behind on population, which is really not something you expect to happen here. When your opponent invests 300 wood, 20 favor, which is basically 500 resources into an upgrade early game, plus is spending 200 wood, 12 favor, which is like 320 resources on a 3 population unit, you expect to, if you're the player not doing that, to have a lot more population out. And that's just not the case here. As the army is going to be pushing through here, we'll see how these fights are going to go. You could utilize those Centaur to snipe Hippocon here. All you have to do is make sure your Hippocon target down that Chiron first. You're going to be in a good position here. But it looks like st4rco trying to take this fight probably shouldn't be doing it, as he is going to be retreating back. Chiron pushes forward here ever so slightly, getting caught out of position here. And st4rco is going to use this opportunity here to get a little bit of chip damage done. Chiron too drunk to hit those speedy Centaur here as he just shoots an arrow there, and the Centaur in a completely different universe. As yet again, the Chiron kind of getting caught out of position. Still has a lot of HP remaining, but the town centers are up now. Another stable coming down here for st4rco, and st4rco just needs to continue producing everything here. He's on 2 town centers. He's got the villager lead. He's got to continue controlling town centers over there. He's got this Hippocon patrolling on this position. Walls coming down with a stable on this position as well. Absolutely huge as the Hippocon's swinging around, taking a check out what's happening. Looks like Revan's Hippocon going to get a little bit of damage done before he decides to turn around and say, hey, stop that. But look at this. The Centaur they're almost getting caught out of position, but they don't. And that Chiron gets almost taken out. Oh no, he gets hit. He's going to lose the Centaur. Not quite losing it. It's down to 1 HP or 12 HP there as this villager does get caught out of position for the time being there. Chiron gets taken down. Centaur still being controlled very, very nicely here. It's now the Hippocon retreating back ever so slightly. The villagers, for some reason, deciding to leave the elephant here. It looks like he's got 700 food in the bank. That's why. Could have just jumped onto this gold mine, to be honest, but deciding against that as Revan wants to get to the next age as soon as he possibly can. But st4rco's villager lead here is slowly but surely getting further and further out of reach for Revan. And even if Revan hits the heroic age soon here, I mean, going heroic age and making Nemean Lions, that's definitely a play here that can give him an advantage, especially with all the gold mines being exposed. And this gold mine here of st4rco just about expired. We do see villagers building farms here. This is something that I really don't want to see very much of, especially when you've got map control as the Centaur player here. I mean, you did go 2 town centers, so it makes sense, but look, there's giraffe over here. There's elephants over here. There's food over here. There's just so much hunt on this map. This map is very similar to a marsh type map in terms of the hunt. So it's really important to put all of the effort into getting all the hunt you possibly can. As the Ajax here, let's get taken down. But 1 Centaur does fall there. I think it was a low HP Centaur as well. Villagers more than happily sitting over here. Chiron going to get targeted down immediately as the Centaur getting low HP. Doesn't quite lose any of those though. Look at Odysseus just sitting here inside this pyramid defending himself. This is just for looks. It doesn't really do anything. Restoration going to be getting dropped down on this position as well as 1 Centaur gets sniped down. Nice play there from Revan as st4rco has to retreat back ever so slightly. Revan with so much food in the bank. He needs some more gold here, ladies and gentlemen. He's got himself pickaxe, but he needs some more gold to produce all of his Hippocon here. He's not going for it. Some Hades Shades starting to come through into this position. st4rco at 89 pop. Revan at 95 pop. The Centaur coming back to get a little bit more damage done. Villagers getting pulled off of the gold mine here, and st4rco clicks ceasefire. st4rco clicks ceasefire. Villagers moving forward, maybe to grab this middle town center now that all is said and done. But look at the villager differential here, 58 to 34. It's almost double, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sure that it's going to get to double if we don't see a town center coming through soon for Revan. But Revan is just not managing his resources equally here at all. Needs so many more villagers on gold. He's got these villagers eating goats here when he definitely just does not need that. Now moving over onto the gold mine here, that's at least going to help out a little bit. We see a 3rd town center coming up for st4rco as well, feeling like he can do that, while we see a 2nd town center coming up for Revan. With medium cavalry coming in, all of the extra cavalry getting built out here. It's 112, 115 population for st4rco to Revan's 97 population. Now, we do have to remember there's about a 30 population differential in terms of economy versus military. So Revan's military right now is actually quite a bit stronger than st4rco. So st4rco just needs to not really fight here and let his economy keep him alive, as we do see the town center might get spotted here. Revan comes over here with the Hippocon. He sees it and he's like, no, not today. That town center you're going to have to wait for. As st4rco moves across here, he does have a 20 population lead here, so it's only a 10 population lead in military, basically, for Revan. at this moment. As the villagers joining in on the fight, trying to fight forward here. Chiron very low on the HP as the Hippocon come through, trying to snipe that one down. Good micro here from Revan, trying to keep his Chiron alive, retreating away from those Hippocon. But Revan comes in close, and he will be losing that Chiron. One Centaur does go down, but it does look like the Hippocon of Revan are mostly going to be able to win in this fight. There's the military barracks coming through for S4rco, trying to get more and more units out. Villagers coming through here are going to try and push this town center up, and this could be what Revan needs to stay afloat in this game, is sniping down some villagers here. As two Centaur going down there from the Ajaxes. S4rco not really controlling his Centaur all too well anymore. And with a handful of Hippocon here, just getting some damage done onto that settlement. It's going to slow S4rco down even more. And look, here's the thing. Revan can also think about grabbing this town center as well in the future here. Handful of idle military here for S4rco. Needs to get those coming through. Revan gets another Chiron back out to deal with those Centaurs here. As, I mean, S4rco is still sitting at full population. This house over here getting picked off will allow S4rco the reminder that he's not sitting at 130 of 130 population. But Revan, even after all of that successful fighting here, you'd have to say that was a success for Revan. He is behind 40 population now. And all S4rco needs to do is get his units to start doing something, and he's going to be in a good position. The other thing to remember, though, is Revan just has to play the waiting game. He doesn't have to win the game now. He just has to not lose the game. And by doing that, all he needs to do is get the third town center over here, get Mythic Age, and then sit back on that Zeus power that happens just by the fact that he's Zeus. Sorry, Hades power, I should say. Just by the fact that he's Hades, he's going to be able to win the late game. So now S4rco retreats back. More Hippocon coming through over here as well. Hoplites coming out. S4rco has his villagers out as well. Town center now coming through. Revan wants to start his own town center. Doesn't quite have the resources to build that one up just yet. That's the Hippocon coming through here. Wouldn't be a bad idea to just send some units down here for S4rco as well to prevent that town center from ever going up. But now S4rco is looking to advance to the heroic gauge here. He's just about got the resources. He's got an armory somewhere. No, the armory coming up with all the food villages. A classic Age of Mythology tactic. If you know, you know. There's now villagers moving over here onto the gold on that position there. S4rco's just about to get himself that third town center with nearly 80 villagers. We see the army of Revan pushing through here. As S4rco pulls back in. We'll see how the fight's going to go yet again. As S4rco's Hippocon need to get in and attack those Toxotes, and he does manage to do so. And now Revan is like, he's got plenty of resources in the bank. His income's not there, but he's just not going to be able to continue to keep up with the pace at which S4rco is going to be able to start putting things out just because of the villager differential. So Revan has to find some villagers to kill off. He can't just keep going after military. It's just not going to be working out for Revan in the long run. He needs to pick off some villagers. His Spirited Charge actually looking like it's going to be coming through for S4rco as well. Big upgrade to get with your Hippocon against the Toxotes, because it puts Hippocon up to 6 speed, which means they 100% dodge all arrow fire coming at them, so they can get onto those Toxotes much easier. As we do see some villagers now making their way through, attempt to grab this town center. S4rco needs to move his army in as well, as the villagers coming through here to start attacking each other. Spirited Charge just about to come through, as well as heavy cavalry immediately getting researched there. We did see Apollo, so no surprises there, as the town center coming up here very fast. Meanwhile, villagers going to be shanking down this town center, trying to stop that one from going up. The army coming through onto the villagers to take it down very fast here. Will the town center be able to come up? Imagine bronze here. This is one of those very few situations where maybe bronze would have been a good idea. So many villagers on this town center right now for Revan. He wants it up, and he wants it up now, and it doesn't look like it's going to get stopped. The Hippocon starting to bash down the town center. Too little, too late. Town center is up, but does it matter is the big question. S4rco says it does matter, as he turns back, going to be retreating away. I don't think he needs to retreat here. He's got so many. He would have been idling so many villagers here. 25 villagers-ish 24 villages if he just stayed on that town center, continuing to put pressure on. But he decides to pull back, gives a little bit of reprieve for Revan. Revan's at 138 of 145 population. These Hippocon are very, very strong right now. Heavy Hippocon plus the Spirited Charge. And now we see Hera coming through for 4rco. 4rco wants to end this game now, ladies and gentlemen. As he's going to try and start taking this town center down. We've got the Toxotes coming over here. This Manticore could deal with those very, very easily. Meanwhile, the Chiron comes through. You start targeting down the Manticore. Revan's got to be, or 4rco's going to be a little bit careful overcommitting to taking out the town center with these Hippocon. He could be picking off all the military first. Obviously waiting for Lightning Storm. Not a bad idea either, as these units all getting taken down very, very fast. Meanwhile, Hippocon pulling in onto the unupgraded Toxotes on the back, going to be able to deal with those fairly easily there. As Revan has just got, he's still sitting on so much food here. He's now sitting at 73 villagers, so Revan has caught up on the villager count somehow, some way. But yeah, 4rco about to be able to click that Lightning Storm and do a lot of damage here. And Revan here sitting 118 population. 4rco's just going to continue pumping units out. He could also go for this town center too, if he so chose. Fortress coming down, maybe immediately into Heliopolis. Not a bad idea either. I guess there were all those villagers killed in this fight, so I guess that's how Revan caught back up on the villagers, but still scary moments ahead here for both players. It's basically 4rco going Hera. He says, basically he's saying to Revan that he wants to finish the game now. There's not going to be a late game here. It's going to be all or nothing. As the fortress is up, Heliopolis will be able to be built. There's the Hephaestus coming through for... Wait. 4rco cancelled Hera at 90% here, ladies and gentlemen. He's like, okay, I'm making a mistake. Don't want to go through Hera. He's taken he's actually... That is wild. I haven't seen anyone do that before. He says, I realize... Basically what 4rco is saying, he says, I realize that I'm probably not going to be able to win here with Hera. So I'm going to take the safer route, take the minute and a bit lost on that research time, and just go Hephaestus. That's wild. I think that's the first time I've ever seen a player be like aware that much about the position. Now I do think that he probably could have won there with Hera nonetheless, but that's a wild decision there. There's now fortified town centers coming in as well. More units making their way through here. As the Toxotes, a little bit of a cheeky raid coming in with the wall coming up as well. He can position this Petropolis right here to target down the fortified town center if he so chooses. Meanwhile, more fights coming through. We've got the fortress coming in on this position as 4rco wants to surround this Hades town center. Meanwhile, Hippocon swinging through here. As 4rco is going to get a little bit of a raid coming in, as he does spot the villagers on this gold mine. Lots of villagers here to get taken down. Is Revan going to be able to notice this or not? Lots of stuff happening in the main base as we see Underworld Passage coming in to hit this location while all is happening. And that gives Revan the cue to retreat back. And in that moment, Revan says, I am too far behind. And he's going to tap out, giving 4rco the win, giving 4rco the opportunity to continue in this tournament, and definitely gives him access to the Challengers League portion of this tournament. Incredibly well played by 4rco. Showed two different sides to his Zeus here against the Greek. He showed the two-town center play, managed to get a win against Poseidon. Couldn't beat the Hades there, so he had to go in with the Centaur to get the win in this game, but he did manage to put all that pressure on, and Revan just could not manage to hold it. Really well played, really well executed game here from 4rco. If you guys enjoyed this game, please consider hitting the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTubes, hit that subscribe button. I'll see you guys in the next game.